Hi everyone, welcome to this Google Digital Garage training session on Get Started with Digital Advertising. My name is Benedict. I'm a trainer for Google's free skills training program, Google Digital Garage. Just a bit about myself. I'm an experienced coding specialist and digital skills trainer, as well as having a background in the digital creative industry and worked in the sector for over 20 years. I would also like to introduce our amazing moderator, Kira. Kira is also a Google Digital Garage coach and will be interacting with you and answering just about all of your questions via the instant chat to the right there. Now you can identify the moderator by her name, Kira, as well as a little blue spanner next to her name. Now, just before we start, I just want to call out a few things to help you today. Firstly, if you are having any trouble viewing the webinar at any stage, please do try refreshing your page. Also, if you would like to join the instant chat, and please do, it's a great opportunity to interact with us and everything. It's very easy. You do need a YouTube account. You can very easily set it up by clicking on the box also on the right there. Now, we will be pausing throughout the session for questions and answers, and some of these questions Kira will hopefully pass on to me so I can actually see them from the chat box, which would be great. So please do feel free to fire away with your questions throughout. Now, just to let you know, we are running this Google Digital Garage virtual training as part of a broader offering of courses. Now, if you would like to check out our schedule of upcoming webinar training, please see this information in the description below, which links you through to our website. Okay, so now that is the housekeeping done. Let us now get started with digital advertising. Now, as normal, we're separating this into three separate sections. So search advertising. So, being there when customers are actually searching for businesses like yours. And then display advertising, increasing your visibility across relevant websites. So often called a search campaign, for example, in Google Ads, display campaign as well. So then social advertising, of course, advertising on different social media. This is engaging with your customers and potential customers on social networks like Facebook, for example. Now, what are the key advertising options available to us? We're going to have a look at some of these different questions. What are the benefits across each channel? And how can we make sure that we are actually doing the right thing with our advertising? And then last, we're going to kind of work out how do we set up online advertising campaigns. These are the different areas we're going to be covering today. And I hope you'll be able to walk away at the end of the session today with this knowledge. If there's anything that you missed, don't forget, from the moment I finish giving the talk up till 24 hours after, you can go back and have a look at any different parts of the video that you missed. It will be the same place you go and everything to find it. Okay, first things first, a great opportunity we have at present. It is free one-to-one mentoring, which is available from Google. So one of us could be speaking directly to you and assisting whatever different stage your small business or charity in the UK is. It could be right at the beginning stage, building up your business profiling, setting all sorts of different things up, whatever it might be. If you're going for more sales, if you're going for more people to know who you are as a company, all sorts of different sides that we cover over there. Just one other thing, please do. There is one point here. Unfortunately, it's only within the UK at present. Hopefully, this will eventually expand. Having said that, though, we're fascinated to know the different places that you are actually signing on from. So it'd be great if you can share with us, in the chat, your name, of course, and which countries you're signing on from, or which part of the UK, whatever it might be. Be really fascinating to know. Thank you so much. I will keep an eye on it and introduce you all once it happens. Okay, so that is the sign up for Google Mentoring. And thank you very much, Kira. Kira has just provided you with the link there to help you to go straight there and book a session. It is all totally free. There are no catches there at all. We're there to assist and help you as these talks and webinars are. Okay, now, search advertising. Let's get started with search advertising. It is advertising on search engines like Google or Bing, for example. Now, Search advertising, particularly, think about it, whether the part for you, which would be very important, is to get people who are actually searching at that stage. I'm going to give you an example here just to help you a little bit. The whole point is when you put in into the search query what you're looking for. So, for example, takeaway pizza. Sorry, we always give examples of food. Hope it's not making you feel hungry, but it could be takeaway pizza. Now, the organic listings you can see in the green rectangle is down below. The advert is up at the top, and you can see that little square where you can see the words that it is actually an ad. Okay, I'm just going to quickly make this a little bit smaller just so that you can see it. Just one moment. I'll just see if I can do that again. There we go. So just so you can see it a little bit clearer, I'll just take myself off briefly just so you can see it. Okay. So this is what we call search engine results page. It contains, three things mainly. The first thing you'll notice, of course, is the search query at the top. Underneath that I've mentioned already, the adverts, and then underneath that, the organic listings. Okay. So, all right, to give you an example, and of course, people may actually click on the different adverts. And of course, the adverts, you bid for certain keywords. And if you win the bidding, then of course, your advertisement will appear there. And every time a person actually clicks on it, you're paying that same amount of money every time. All right, so we're going to use this example. All right, so we've got Pauli's Pizzeria. It's an Italian restaurant situated in Edgbaston, Birmingham. Now, Paulie wants to increase sales and is interested to know how digital advertising can help. So looking at this example, it's an Italian restaurant situated in Edgbaston, Birmingham. So Paulie wants to increase sales and is interested to know how digital advertising can actually help. Okay. Now, there is a process for search engine marketing. We're going to go through each of these. Very, very important. Firstly, understand your customers. In the whole process, you need to understand your customers. It's what makes everything else happen. If you know the people who you're actually trying to get across to, you can make sure that it is honed down to that. All right. Once you know who your customers are, then of course you've got to find the keywords. Now we need to brainstorm good keywords to bid on in this context that might be relevant, to your target audience. So we'll be covering a little bit of that. And then of course, creating ad copy. Of course, to make a good advert, we need to understand, what our target customer wants and make sure that it's whatever you provide that matches, make sure that it is all incorporated within the ad. So, and then finally putting it all together, it might sound quite intimidating, all of these different steps, but it's really quite simple. And we're going to take you through each step. So let us get started with step one. So understanding your customers. So the big question is, who is your audience? So it could be, people like our existing customers. If you've got existing customers, look into that and work out particularly who they are. Could be students, busy professionals, pizza lovers. Where are they? What particular place? And what's important to them? So looking at those three questions: who is your audience? Where are they? And what's important to them? So, of course, the existing customers, using that as a resource, doesn't have to be the existing, could be competitors that you're finding out this information from, developing your unique selling point, what you provide that others don't. And then, of course, there's, it could be students, busy professionals, pizza lovers, let's say, as those three areas that we're covering. Where are they? So 3 places there might be. So Edgbaston, Selly Oak, B15. Now, this is very much a local place where it could be delivered from, or you can come and pick it up from. So the area is very, very important. Now, quite possibly, some of your businesses are more global. I completely understand. So then, of course, the actual place might not be as important. Maybe the country, maybe the particular region. So it's these different areas that could come up. And then what is important to them? So 3 things that are important to them when it actually becomes products like yours. So what do you provide? It's a variety of topping, fast delivery, authentic ingredients. Just going back onto where are they? one of the things is when you're marketing is if it's a lot of your clients are in a particular country and they speak another language, you could work out whether it's worth translating it into that language, so to make sure that they can see the advert in their own language, in their own native tongue. Okay, as an example. So going back to this, so step 2, creating a keyword plan. Now we have an understanding of our target audience. We can come up with some keyword ideas. Now, there are loads of different ways to do this, like using the Google. What is very useful, there's a Google Keyword Planner. Now, when you register with Google Ads, ads.google.com, one of the things is you are put straight into a campaign, but if you look around in the first couple of screens, you can get out of that to have a look at it and decide if you wish to, depending what you want to do first. But that's where you're going to be starting. And with you have settings, it should say tools and settings. If it doesn't say tools and settings, you click on settings and you go into expert mode. That gives you tools and settings. So when you click on tools and settings, when you finally got it there, in the first column, you will see there, one of them is called Keyword Planner. Now that is Google Keyword Planner, the most used search engine. So it can provide you with lots of information to help you. All right. Now we're going to keep it nice and simple with this example. We're not going to go through the keyword planner and all the rest. There's a lot of different things you can include there that you can use. Thank you very much, Kira. She's giving you there the link for Google Ads. Perfect. All right. So let's go through this now. Maybe you're asking, what is a keyword? Now, it is a question which often, when I'm speaking one-to-one with the different companies, I do ask, what is a keyword? Just to make sure, because keyword comes up in many different industries, many different contexts. In the context of the internet, the keyword is actually what is put into the search query. So it could be one or more words. That is one keyword. So it could be several. For example, what's a keyword could be down as a keyword. So these are the different ways that they could be used. When it's very long, then of course it's even more specific, and less people who will choose it, but it might be exactly what you provide. So keep that in mind. So for your ad to actually appear, you need a keyword to map some part of a user's search query in Google. So this is the whole thing. We're getting it so that it matches what people are looking for. Okay, very, very important. Putting yourself in the shoes of the client more than anything. All right, so how many combinations can we make? Let's have a look at this. Okay, you've got the answer there already. So we've got keywords closely related to your business. So we've got pizza, fast food, takeaway. And then we've got keywords closely related to your locality, B18, and then Edgbaston and Birmingham. The postcode there, edge of the place, and Birmingham, the specific place, and then of course within Birmingham. So, and then the combination of keywords you could have, for example, 3 times 3, 9 different versions. So pizza B18, pizza Edgbaston, pizza Birmingham, fast food B18, fast food. So you can combine all of these different ones and coming up with them. So you using the combination of those different things and matching them together. Okay. So this is the big thing. So it's coming up with different keywords, the combinations and everything, which is very important as well. Now, possibly as well, you can go as far as even have spelling mistakes. Some people always make a particular kind of spelling mistake. You can even use that for people searching within their search query, the misspelled version. You can actually even be provided an advertisement, which is another possibility as well. Okay, so working this out, obviously the most ideal thing is that you're sitting there, you're following this, but you're taking down a couple of notes yourself for your own business. I mean, obviously we're talking about one here in Birmingham. It doesn't matter which part of the world you're in. The whole point is we're working out these different areas. Remembering that locality, if locality is not that important, because it could be, you're a global company, you provide to all around the globe, there's different things that you can include there with locality. All right. So now we've got to match the keywords with the business. So, here are some keywords which we need to actually align with advertisers. All right. So have a look at this. This is a kind of I'll show it to you here. Which keywords go with which business? Put it simply. So we've got mobile hairdresser in Birmingham, phone repair shop in Birmingham, cupcake shop in Birmingham, and online fancy dress shop. Okay, so let's have a look. If you can give us some feedback there and give us some of the different things you come up with, that would be fabulous. So anyway, I'm going to carry on with this. So mobile hairdresser. So it's got a particularly hairdresser in Birmingham. So let me see now. Phone repair Birmingham city centre. Therefore, that would be phone repair shop in Birmingham. Where can I fix my iPhone screen? Birmingham. Phone repair shop in Birmingham. And then red velvet cupcake, Birmingham. So red velvet cupcake. Now this would be particularly cupcake shop in Birmingham. And then we've got barber Birmingham. So mobile hairdresser, cupcake costume. Aha. Now this is the trick question, because it sounds like a cupcake shop in Birmingham, but of course it's actually a costume. Therefore, it is online fancy dress shop. Now, I'll let you carry on with that. If you come up with any answers, please do share it with us on the chat. In the meantime, I'm going to move on to the answer just for you to check that what you calculated and worked out is correct. Well, I mean, there's no right or wrong. It's not set in stone, but the idea is to give you an idea, the kind of things that you'll be searching for. Because the big thing is, it's got to match what people are searching for. Very, very important. Okay, so you got that over there. Okay, now, so creating engaging search adverts. Now, of course, the internet, of course, there's so many adverts we see, every day. So part of the work is making sure people want to click on your ad. So let's actually explore how to make the adverts you create really engaging. Okay, let's have a look at this. So, okay, so we've got keywords. What exactly is next? Now, of course, our advertisements have got to be relevant to what people are searching or looking for, basically. So going over the key elements in the description image, and the big thing is how this actually relates back to Paulie's Pizzeria example below. So we've got their pizza takeaway in Edgbaston, fast 15-minute delivery. So you've got all those different things. It's combining all those different things, making sure that it's all in the right direction for what people are searching for, and it's also matching with what you provide. And as I said before, you are often discovering the unique selling point that others don't provide for, but you do as well. And of course, you can accentuate those elements. Okay, so match the ad headline to the customer. So we've got people who value convenience, people who value variety, and people who value an authentic experience. Now, it'd be great if you can share with us on the chat what you come up with there, particularly. It'd be fascinating to see. Now, of course, these are some of the ad headlines, which we need to align with specific needs, with the points that further down. So having a look at this, we've got people who value convenience. So fast 15-minute delivery. Okay, that's very convenient, isn't it? It gets there immediately. Live Italian restaurant. Okay, we're going across to value an authentic live Italian, the real Italian music. Scheduled delivery available. There we go. Convenience. A different deal every day. Variety. Italian Neapolitan pizza. Authentic experience. 17 different toppings available. Variety. So that gives you a sort of idea, just to remind you. Of course, there you go, to help you. My apologies, the yellow might be a little bit difficult to see, but I'll just make it a little bit bigger for you. There we go. All right, so let's have a look now. So step 4. So now you've gone through the first 3 steps. Believe it or not, already you've gone through the first 3 steps of this whole process. Now, putting all of this stuff together. And don't forget, we have already covered those first 3 points, getting the keywords, matching the different keywords and everything. You've got all of those different things. The big thing is, of course, understanding who your customers are, where they are and what's important to them, and how to brainstorm keyword ideas. And then, of course, how to create good ad copy that is matching what they're really looking for. Don't forget, if there's any questions, fire away with your questions. We're here to answer them. Okay. Now we're going to walk you through how to put all that learning together and create a search campaign within, of course, Google Ads. So here we are, Google Ads, ads.google.com, which Kira very kindly gave us the link. Now, we can log into Google Ads with our Google account, of course, or we could create one. Now, each ad has to start with a campaign. Now, nowadays, it's slightly different what it used to be. It actually asks you questions. What do you want to do? Do you want to increase the people who see, the different, your awareness, people's awareness of your company? Are you going for sales? Are you going for, and then they suggest different campaigns that you could choose. Okay. So if you sell lots of products, then campaigns help to organize how you actually promote them. A shoe seller, for example, might have a campaign for men's boots or women's shoes or winter Wellingtons, for example. Now, as we're focusing on search advertising, you would then select the search network to ensure your adverts are shown. So we've got here step 1, log into Google Ads. Step 2, click the plus button, then select a new campaign. It is slightly different nowadays. Now they ask you questions and then, of course, the campaign. Step 3, select type of campaign. All right, so this particular one we've been talking about is the search campaign. All right. So step 4, select targeting settings. For example, location. So you might want to choose your city or even a specific postcode initially. The larger the geographic area, the more search volume likely. You can also specify times of the day or specific days of the week you want your adverts to run, or on the other hand, not run. You will also be given the opportunity to set a budget. Please set a budget. That is a limit. You must have a budget. Otherwise, you don't know what the bill's going to be. So you set a budget, which is the limit to the amount you're willing to invest with these adverts for your campaign. You'll enter a bid as well. So you make sure this is relatively low to begin with, so you can actually get a gauge of how these keywords perform visually, test it out and everything. Now, as we discussed earlier, you'll be able to actually add the keyword list related to your ad. Make sure this is tightly themed and consider matching options to strengthen it. And also remember, keep your headlines in line with what people are searching for. It's not what you want to put out, it's what people are searching for. And be sure to include any promotions or offers. Very, very important. When you set it up as well, it won't be going across to your home page. That's a bit too general for the people. Ideally, you set up a landing page. Now, a landing page is a page you create which is not listed on the menu. And then, of course, the person clicks on the advertisements, they're taken through to the landing page. You carry on the conversation from the advertisement. That way, people feel a bit more welcome. But you also have calls to action buttons at the top so people can click through. If they just want to order now, buy now, that's fine. You have the option for them to do that at the top. Okay, we're now on to the great opportunity. So we've got pausing for questions. Okay, at the present, I can see you're all not quite onto that stage yet, but let's hope soon we will have all of you full of questions. So that is the process. I hope that didn't overwhelm you too much. You have a chance to go back, don't forget, within 24 hours after I finished. Let us now go on to the second section of this talk. Okay, so here goes. Display advertising. Now, this is advertising on a variety of, publisher websites. All right. Now, what does it look like? Well, what are display adverts? You can see typically it is for, by the definition of the word anyway, display adverts, in all shapes and sizes, predominantly image banners. Now, there's different ad formats available, text adverts, image adverts, video adverts, adverts across mobile websites. And image adverts can be more effective in getting people to click, as they're often more visual. Often what will happen is you provide the details, what you're going for, the keywords and everything. Google will provide you with a list of websites where you could appear. And on the right-hand side, you can see whether you can put a banner, image, and or a video on those particular websites that Google has a contract with. So yeah, obviously it's ideally going to where your clients hang out on the internet. What kind of articles do they read? What kind of place do they go to read these articles? They could be reading an article about that particular thing, and then of course they can see the advertisement, click through. And of course it's matching what people are reading about in this context. Okay. It's much more visual. The great thing about this is, it's visual is much quicker for people to see and respond to and remember than something which is text oriented. Some people are more text oriented in their learning and the way they see things, the things they pick up and everything. That's absolutely fine. But the most typical is kind of image. They'll pick up the image and remember particularly that. Whereas text takes often, for most of us, a bit of time to remember. So, and the big thing is this is ideal, especially depending on your companies. If your company can have images which give people a really good idea of what you provide. Faces are really important. If you're going to have some of the faces, maybe of the director or the team who are working on it, whatever it might be, that always helps. And it's very effective in getting people, to click and yeah, it's just visual ones. It's very useful. So it's very useful in increasing your reach, particularly this kind of thing. So people are more aware of you. They know about your brand. They've seen your advertisements at least, even if they've just looked at the advert and not clicked on it. They're gradually getting to know it. Okay. So how's display advertising different from search advertising? What I haven't actually really stated already. So search advertising, of course, is based around the search engine, and it is to generate sales. This is a big thing. So it's to generate sales particularly. Display advertising, it appears on different websites, and it's particularly for brand awareness or traffic, so people can get to know you particularly. Now, with display advertising, we don't have as clear understanding of what the user is interested in, as we're serving adverts against the content that they're viewing, that they're reading, for example. For example, Paulie's Pizzeria might want to show a banner ad on the food section of the Birmingham Mall, for example, to actually build local awareness. There's a big difference as your display adverts might be seen almost anywhere on the internet, but your search adverts will be limited to search engines with Google and will be text links, not image adverts. And of course, images often work best. So just an idea for you to use, all right? So let's go through the process. Now, of course, we know already, and I think in just about all of our talks, we talk about this fact that you need to understand your customers. It really is what makes everything else happen. If you don't know your customers, you're not targeting to the right people and all the rest, and you're not getting people coming in. Then the next one is find placements. Now, as I said, Google will provide you with a list. This is within Google Ads. Once you've chosen display campaign, once you've provided the details, Google will provide you with a list of different places where your advertisements could appear. Now, with potentially millions of websites available, we need to whittle this down to a handful of options. And Google tries to do this to a certain extent because it provides you with, according to relevancy, different websites with the most relevant at the top. And then, of course, it's creating ad creative. All right. So in order to actually create good adverts, we need to understand what our target customer wants. How can we get across to this client through the images? What already capture their attention? We're covering all of this just now. And then, of course, putting all of this together, within Google Adverts, we can actually create powerful display campaigns in addition to search campaigns. And we're going to go over this whole process. All right. So step one, understanding your customers. All right. So who is your audience? Now, let's say we want to find more people like our existing customers, whether it's tradesmen, DIYers, property developers. Where are they? Where do we think we can find them online? This might be based on research and using tools like Google Display Planner, for example. So we've got those two questions. Who's your audience and where are they? So in this case, of the context of the pizzas, students, busy professionals, pizza lovers, where are they? Student websites, local food directory websites, food blogs. Now you'll see there's a difference here from what we're talking about. Where are they? Before, where are they situated on the globe? This, where are they? The places they might be. Basically, they might hang out. So student websites, a lot of students will be going there. Local food directory websites, absolutely, for busy professionals, for example. Food blogs, and also for pizza lovers as well. So all of those different areas would kind of match where they would go on the internet, where they could be, where you can actually find them on the internet. Okay, so step 2, finding placement ideas. Now, this is to give you a bit of a better idea. Just bear with me a moment. Unfortunately, I keep on having to do this. There we go. So just so you can see it a little bit clearer, now you simply just enter your relevant keywords into Display Planner, and it finds you websites which might be relevant to your business. Now it tells you which ad formats and relevance factor of each placement. So you can see relevance far right. You can see here we've got ordertakeaways.co.uk, and there we've got the ad formats, so it could be things like banner, could be display, it could be video, all of those different things. It's kind of stating with the images. All right. Gives you an idea as well of these different sides. Okay, so that is finding placement ideas, and of course it's looking through those and working out where particularly would be ideal, and of course obviously looking at the website and working out where would be ideal for you to appear. Okay, then step 3 is creating engaging advert creative. I want to apologize again. We're talking about stuff where we've got food and a little bit tantalizing again. My apologies. But anyway, here we go. So we've got the pizza in Edgbaston. Buy one pizza, get second one free. There you got a delicious picture here, pizza in Edgbaston. Now, moving on to the step, the process, creating adverts that resonate. Users have become so accustomed to seeing banner adverts that they tend to ignore them. That's not to say that you can't actually make your advert stand out. The images on the right here contain some good examples of best practice. Well, there's only one image there particularly. It is visually descriptive, reinforces a given locale. There we go, in Edgbaston. There it's got, and promotes a specific offer. Okay, so buy one pizza, get second one free. So let's look at some other things we can actually do to make sure people click on our adverts. All right, so let's go back onto this now. So step 4, putting all of this together. Now, remembering that, of course, understanding who your customers are, where are they online, this time online, how to find the most relevant placement ideas, and how to create good ad creative. Don't forget, fire away with any questions you have at present, because great opportunity to ask us, and we're here to assist and help. So let's have a look at this. So of course you log on to Google Ads, ads.google.com with your Google account, or create one. Each ad has to start with a campaign. So if you sell lots of products, then campaigns help to organize how you promote them. For example, shoe seller, might have a campaign, men's boots or women's shoes or winter Wellingtons, for example. Now we're focusing on display advertising. You would then select the display network to ensure your adverts are shown there. Now communicate targeting options. Here you can be as specific as possible. The more specific you are about where your adverts will actually serve, the more targeted and relevant they will be. So you can target by postcode, city, or even my apologies. With this, you're going for different places on the internet where those people would be hanging out. It's not actually places, but particular things that people would be searching for. And then find some relevant website placements. So here we've got really particularly with this particular, it used to be called Display Planner. It no longer has that name, but still you will be provided with a list of websites with the most relevant at the top. And of course, it's working out where particularly you want to be able to have these people, where they will be hanging out and where it would be ideal. Okay. And then, of course, we're on to actually creating your advert. Of course, the best practice in digital ad design. So, creating adverts, remember, that resonate. Now, the images here again on the right actually contain some good examples, okay, of best practice. So one, they're visually descriptive. Second, they references a given locale. And it's always good to test different adverts against one another. So there's kind of test A and A, B, so that you can actually see what resonates best amongst your target audience. Because don't forget, you can get feedback on Google Ads. You can check out the return on investment, and you can see which ones are working best and why. I mean, obviously, there has to be a certain amount of deduction working on there. So, because of course, there are data analysts, and of course, data analysts are taking all this information and interpreting what that means. And of course, to a certain extent, you need to do this. But in this context, you're just working out which advert works best, why, and then coming to a decision. And then, of course, that will influence your next advert, of course, or which one you're going to choose of the two. All right. We are now on to the amazing questions. Already there are no questions yet, but I'm sure there are many questions in your own minds ready to ask. So do fire away for the next and last section of questions. So let us now move on to the next section that I'll be covering in this talk: social paid advertising. Now, the big thing is, of course, social media is very, very important. So you could advertise on social media, and there's different ways you can use these different things. Now, of course, social advertising, of course, this is actually paid advertising, not putting, a post where you don't pay anything, but this is, often it's called boost. So paid advertising on social networks, like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, many different ones. So also known as paid social media advertising or social media marketing. Okay, often those two terms are used. All right, so let's have a look at this. Now, so why should we use social advertising? Okay. The big thing is people will often look, once they've found you, or even before they found you, they're looking on different search engines, social engines, social media engines. So they're not only looking on the search query and everything, but they're also going to different websites where they read the different things. And then also they're going on to social media. And often when people find you, let's say on a Google ad or something like that, they'll go, okay, well, let me find out more about this person. And they will look to social media often to find another place. We talk about, of course, increasing your social presence on the internet. Not, of course, your carbon footprint, which is completely different, but here increasing so people can find you in many different places and actually read more about it and find different things that they didn't know. So, so it's really driving broad awareness of your business, so creating adverts with a specific objective to get your target audience, to like your page as well. Also, you could might want to drive people who are already like your page to a specific promotion, that you have on your website. It's best to build an audience first before you start to promote special offers, promotions, etc. Social networks have become an increasingly cluttered space where many advertisers compete for attention. But the point is, if they're people who've signed up to your newsletter or whatever it might be, or following you, then they might be a bit more open to special deals, particularly. You can see here as well, this one over here, we've got the way you can see this is a particular advert. You can see top left, it says sponsored. And then, of course, you've got their like page and everything. So often a post looks just like a post. Now, let me give you some examples here. So what are the main differences between organic and paid social media? Okay, let's have a look at what it is, the meaning of it. So organic social media, of course, views, actions, or clicks from posts are totally free. Content appears on your business profile and in people's news feeds. You can only reach your followers and friends of followers. That's the only people you're able to reach. Now, if you've got 5,000 or 5 million, whatever it might be, then okay, great. Okay, you don't need to be. But paid social media, you pay for views, actions, or clicks from posts or adverts. Now, your adverts can appear in many places, and of course, you can hone it to who it's going to be, what demographically, with different age group, all sorts of different things you can cover, and can reach anyone. People don't have to follow you. This is the most important element. All right, okay. So let's have a look at this. Now, this is organic social media, and this is paid social media. Now, just bear with me a moment. I'm just going to put it so that you can actually see it a little bit clearer. Now, have a look at that and see which one. So, okay, it says at the top, paid is the one at the top. Oh, sorry, one on the right. So you know already that the one on the right is paid, but why? What particular reason would you be able to see? Do share it with on the chat. There is one little thing there. I will give it to you just now, but just giving you a chance, of course, in all this rush and everything, just to answer that particular question amongst all of you who are watching this talk. So this particular one here is actually, it is suggested post, particularly. Suggested post, there we go. So you've got that particular thing, and of course you've got the like page. They look identical. Of course, they've got the same title there and everything. And you can see further down there, sponsored. So sponsored is the element which tells you that this is actually paid social media. It is not organic social media, which is quite important for a lot of people to be able to distinguish the posts from the adverts. I'm going to move on. I'm not going to actually come back so you can see me again, because again, you've got to look at quite small text here again. Let's see if we can tell the difference between organic social media and paid social media. Again, I mean, okay, fine, there are different photos, but really it looks practically identical. Now, if you look around carefully on the one on the right to see which one is actually paid, what element that tells you that this is actually paid social media. So looking at the left, it's kind of got some information about those particular shoes. On the right, they've got information down below as well. But particularly there is that blue banner there which says shop now. So it is now there, shop now, which actually tells you this is actually social media marketing. Okay. Let's have a look at this now. Looks slightly familiar. I can't think why, but okay. So on the left, we've got organic social media. On the right, we've got paid social media. So it looks, again, in this context, the Twitter tweet, looks very similar. It could be either one and everything. But if you have a look, careful look between the two, you will see on the left and the right, you'll see something extra added to the paid social media on the right. And that is right at the bottom. It is promoted. So it tells you that it has been promoted. So as it's promoted, therefore, it is actually paid social media. All right. Now on to the big question. Let's just bring myself back. So where should I advertise? Of course, there's so many different options. It can be a challenge to decide on which social network to focus on. It's much better to focus on a single channel than to spread yourself too thinly, particularly that accentuation on those two words, too thinly, across multiple social networks. Now, one of the ways you can do this is, don't forget, we have a talk on getting started with Google Analytics, and that can help you give some feedback to find out which particular social media is bringing the most people to, let's say, buy on your website, whatever, something like that. So you can find out a lot of information from that to give you an idea. Don't forget that also all social media will give you feedback. There is always often called analytics or insights, that kind of terminology, and it will give you information about it so you can find out as much as possible. The big thing is ideally to work out who is your main social media source of people. So once you've actually worked that out, and of course there's different things, different tools you can use. One of them, of course, Google Analytics, to give you some feedback and finding out how people are actually finding you. Okay, so let's have a look at this. A process to social media advertising. So we've got choose objective, very, very important, okay? So you've got to choose what you want to actually achieve with this. Are you trying to sell more? Are you trying to increase the reach so more people are checking out your website? What kind of particular thing is your objective? Then after that, we've got choose your audience, which is a well-known one, of course. So choosing your audience is working out which particular social media do most of your audience hang out. So of course, often it's using that particular social media as the main one that you're going to be using. So also on top of that, you're going to have to work out who are your audience. You know, if they're within a certain age range, make sure that is only targeting for those particular age range. If it's only in a particular country, then make sure it's for that particular country. So all of these different things to take into context, okay? And then, of course, create ad creative. And of course, here again, we've got to make sure that it's something really get people's interest and make people, well, not make people, entice people to click on it to find out more about it or read about it, whatever it might be. And then always, with every single form of advertisement, set your budget. Very, very important. When you do set your budget, if the advert is going up to the point of the budget, and then what will happen is when it goes over, it'll stop advertising, which is really, really useful. So, and very vital. So please do that. Okay. So where is your audience? Now, here we've got particularly, you know, this is Facebook Insights. You know, you can see how many of your target customers are on there. You know, if you know the rough demographics of your audience, age, gender, interest, jobs. We talk about as well building up persona referring to your main client. So you kind of define your main client, what kind of age, you know, what kind of pets they even have, you know, what they're into, what they like to read about, as much information as possible. So you can almost imagine the people who you are actually creating this advertisement for. Of course, you can also ideally ask your customers which social networks they use. Nothing better than having the clients there in front of you, I assure you, you know, in order to really find people just like them. Also, you could find out information on how did you know about us? It's great that you do, but how did you find out first about us? So all of these different things really do help to make sure that you are getting the right people in the right places and everything on the internet. So what are my competitors doing? The big thing is often competitors can be seen in a negative context, but you can learn a lot from your competitors, you know, across different social channels. You know, you can see how they are actually interacting with their target audience, with your target audience that you're trying to target, and if they actually built a sizable audience and you actually know that the social network has some potential. And it's so vital to be able to learn these different things. There was one company I was helping who was doing, they provide, it's a particular kind of spreadsheet. And I recommended a particular person who's an expert on it. And of course, you can get their newsletter. And of course, there's a lot you can learn. I mean, obviously, the idea is not to copy everything. No, it's more to learn and emulate, I suppose you could say, from all the different findings that you find out, because the point is it's there to inform you, to help you, and you can use that information to your own benefit. Okay, so which platform is actually driving the most traffic or sales on your website? Now, I'm going to show this to you. I'll take myself off just so you can see it a little bit closer. Now, the best place to find this information, of course, ideally, is through Google Analytics. Google Analytics is a free web analytics tool that tracks visitors to your website. So in this context, once you are with Google Analytics, now don't forget, please, that Google Analytics, the old version is Google Analytics version 3. If you sign up for Google Analytics now, it's Google Analytics version 4. There's also a Google Analytics Academy. I think Kira will provide you with the link. Thank you very much, Kira. So the Google Analytics Academy. If you're doing Google Analytics Academy, the course you see in front of you is for Google Analytics version 3, but yours will be Google Analytics 4. And at the top, you'll see a little address to go across and get free training in it. So anyway, once you're in Google Analytics, this is a little bit more towards Google Analytics version 3. You click onto so Google Analytics, and here you can see acquisition, and there you can see all traffic, and then you go for the channels. So of course, if a particular social network is naturally driving traffic, then this is a good sign that there's a natural alignment between the social network and your existing audience. So here we've got, particularly right at the top, who is it? None other than YouTube. So you can see that the most people you're getting there is from YouTube. After that, there's Facebook, and then after that, Quora, and then Reddit, and then Twitter, and then Google Groups as well. So you get an idea of the different places where they're actually joining. And so, of course, you target where you're getting the most people, YouTube in this context. Okay, so I'm just going to bring myself back there so you can see me again. Okay, so carrying on from that. So let's have a look. So the targeting options on social media. Now, the big thing, of course, as you know, each social media has a certain sort of area that it sort of covers a little bit more. So we've got here, Facebook, location, gender and age, interests, life events like birthday and so forth. Twitter, location, gender and age, keywords following what the ones they're following. LinkedIn, you've got location, gender and age, job title, and skills. So these are the key reasons why Facebook is a great tool to target new potential customers. It's a possible one. You can really target them in loads of different ways, and we can actually even combine targeting methods to make sure we're only reaching the most relevant audience possible. Twitter is also a really interesting way of targeting people. For example, if we wanted to target people aged 18 to 24, living in Birmingham, tweeting about pizza or fast food, we can do exactly that. And if your target audience is perhaps more business-minded, oriented towards that side, we might look to use LinkedIn instead. So, for example, if we owned a restaurant business, we might try and get our adverts in front of HR professionals who work in the IT industry for companies with more than 100 people, for example. So that's a couple of the different things to give you an idea. Let's have a look at these now. So we've got match the statement to the social network. Now, please don't forget, there is no right or wrong with this. The whole point is, this is to give you a sort of rough idea what one would think it would be. Don't forget to use the chat there to answer these particular questions. It'd be great if you can. Really nice to see you chatting and communicating with us. But we've got over here, so I want to target females who live in Coventry, like jewelry, and have a birthday coming up. Then we've got the next one. I want to target people who live in Leeds and are following my competitors. The third one, it might be a bit difficult to read. I want to target financial directors who work in IT based in the UK. All right, so thinking about this, where do you think ideally you should target these particular people, going through those different ones? Let's look at the first one. So I want to target females who live in Coventry, like jewelry, and have a birthday coming up. Now, as I said, there is no right or wrong here. but a possibility is it could be possibly Facebook with, interest, jewelry, life events, birthday, for example. It could be Instagram as well, if you're particularly concentrating on the jewelry and everything. So, okay, move on to the next one. I want to target people who live in Leeds and are following my competitors. Now, this ideally, there's no right or wrong again. Twitter. So keywords, leads, and following competitors. So you can have a look at these different sides. And then I want to target financial directors who work in IT based in the UK. Ideally, that is business-based, business to business. So LinkedIn, job title, financial director, skills, IT skills, for example. So that gives you a sort of rough basis. But as I said, there's no right or wrong, but it gives you an idea. Always, ideally, use something like Google Analytics to give you feedback to see if what you think is going to be, is. And if not, then, of course, look into it. It is a little bit like a detective's job to work out some of these different things. But you've got to interpret it, and you've got to be willing to be wrong sometimes. Okay, let's have a look. Just going to be pausing for any amazing questions. Not yet at the moment, never mind. But all right, so I'm just going to take us now onto this now. So what are your next steps? Of course, we've covered a lot of different areas. Well, the three main areas, the big things, the kind of step process, what to do and everything to help you, give you an idea. So ideally, you're going to be walking away with a lot of these different things. Please don't forget you can go back up to 24 hours after I've finished giving this talk, which is only 3 minutes away. And you can, same URL address, you can watch it at any point if you missed out on anything. And the chat will be there, so you can see that as well with the links and everything, which is really useful. So most important thing I always think is just take a few steps that you're going to put into action, get started with that, and that, gets the ball rolling. Okay, let us now move on to this. So don't forget, please, there is free one-to-one mentoring available from Google. So this is particularly if you work for a small business or charity in the United Kingdom. At present, I'm afraid this is not global, but hopefully eventually this will become. And then sign up for Google Mentoring at g.co/UK mentoring. Thank you very much, Kira. She's given you the link there to get connect through to that. It's a great opportunity. Speak to one of us and we will help as best we can with your business. It's always helpful to have someone to speak the different ideas from. Okay. So everyone, I want to thank you for all of your questions and comments and everything and contribution to this talk. We're going to wrap up here as we are out of time. I hope that has been a useful dive, particularly into getting started with digital advertising. As I mentioned at the beginning of the session, if you are interested in more training from Google Digital Garage, there are a few ways you can continue learning. Now, we are running many more Google Digital Garage webinars in different subjects. If you would like to check out the schedule of webinars, please see information on this in the description below. There will be different topics available to watch, and we will be updating the schedule regularly. Also, if you would like to carry on learning online in your own time, check out the Google Digital Garage website for more online training courses, which are available to you 24/7. Finally, if you have any feedback, please just provide it now, which would be fabulous, or any particular questions. But if you want to go even further, if you send it to the email address team@thedigitalgarage.co.uk, which is also at the bottom of the description below. I want to thank you. I want to thank everyone for joining today, for your great contribution to the talk. I want to thank Kira. You've been absolutely fabulous. We look forward to welcoming you again to another Google Digital Garage training session soon. Thank you.